Good morning, everyone. I'm Amanda Lefton, Commissioner of the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation and Chair of the EFC Board. I would like to please call the meeting to order and ask MJ to perform a roll call.
Certainly, Chair Lefton.
Here.
Thank you. Director Lee.
Here.
Director Westerman.
Here.
Director Corcoran.
Here.
Director Krasansky.
Here.
Director Zarowski.
I'm here.
I note for the minutes that Director DeMarquis is absent, but you have a quorum.
Wonderful. So with that, we'll move into our agenda items today. I will first call for a motion to approve the draft minutes from the March 12th, 2026 board meeting.
Second that.
Wonderful. Are there any comments or discussion on the minutes?
No, Madam Chair.
We'll move to a vote to adopt the minutes. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes are adopted. Next, moving on to the report of the chair. I will just celebrate that on March 30th, Governor Hochul announced availability of $100 million in grants for climate resiliency through the Environmental Bond Act. The funding includes $60 million in Resilient Watershed Grants, a program that's jointly administered between the Environmental Facilities Corporation and the Department of Environmental Conservation, as well as $40 million through the Department of State's Coastal Rehabilitation and Resilience Grant Program and Inland Flooding and Local Waterfront Revitalization Program grants. We truly appreciate EFC's deep partnership in the administration of the Resilient Watershed Grants Program. That is actually going to be the second round of this brand new program, and so far has been greatly successful to date, as well as DOS's great leadership at advancing their climate resiliency programs. I look forward to seeing the outcome of those grants now that they're out on the street. Additionally, I'll note that DEC did recently advance a harmful algal blooms action plan. That action plan is really a 5-year game plan for the department to work in partnership with municipalities and other agencies on how we can collectively continue to make progress on attacking ants, and look forward to that as it comes. And that's the report from the chair today. I'd like to please turn it to Maureen for the president's report.
Great, thanks. On March 11th, we opened applications for the wastewater engineering planning grants and the secure cyber grants. So we'll be seeking board approval for EFC to administer the cyber grants in ID number 3. They were announced in between the agenda going out for last meeting and this meeting. So we had to do it in this meeting to seek your approval. $3 million is available for the EPG grants as usual. The application period closes at 4 p.m. on June 12th. There was a webinar yesterday to talk about the program, and there were over 100 participants, so that's great. $2.5 million is available for the secure cyber grants, which Mayor, again, will be speaking about in ID number 3. The application period for those grants closes at 5 p.m. on May 15th. The President's budget request was released on Friday, April 3rd. It's with respect to the SRFs, basically same as last year, would zero out the SRFs, making the argument that we don't need it. It's that federal dollars were supposed to be seed money. Earmarks are basically taking away all the money anyways, and it's not revolving, and that we have lots of money under the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. But we're assuming what will happen last year is that Congress, who realizes the importance of the SRFs, will significantly bump that up, and that will be, we're hoping, in the same condition that we were last year.
I hope so.
If it doesn't happen, we have reviewed that, and we're SRFs are strong, and we have managed them to be able to go without federal grants. So we would, or at least in the short term, in a fine situation, medium term, long term. So we don't expect that to be a problem. We are a number of us, as we said, were at CIFA, Council of Infrastructure Financing Authorities Conference in the summit in DC last week. And one of the big highlights was the Wayne County Water and Sewer Authority won the Pisces Award for, I'm going to get it right, system partnerships. And we had a community win a Pisces Award last year. And so now New York has another one this year. And we nominated the authority for this award because in collaboration with it was a long-term project working with them, and they're the folks. So we nominated them because in collaboration with the state, the towns of Marion, Macedon, Walworth, and the village of Palmyra, they consolidated 4 aging wastewater facilities into one state-of-the-art system. So a really great regionalization project, and worked very cooperatively with EFC all along to make this project work. So great folks. It was funded with $64.5 million from the CWSRF and $41 million in state grants. And folks there in the photo when they went up and got the award, I mean, they're very happy, very thankful, and had some really good recognition from when they were accepting an award for EFC and staff at EFC that helped. So that was wonderful. That was really nice. Also at CFS, the CIFA, there's just a lot of discussion about, the governor's, the president's request, how the SRFs can continue to manage with the earmarks, and that the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act dollars are ending next year. A lot of discussion, a lot of other water organizations were there this year, and a lot of discussion, and they're all advocating, lobbying very strongly with Congress to make sure that they understand how important the SRFs are. A number of people did go up to the Hill and spoke to staff. It was a recess for the members, but they all understand how important the SRFs are. We just hope, it's a big enough priority as it was last year. So, and then we received yesterday, the night before, the actual allocations for 2026 for the SRFs and the drinking water. Basically what we expected and what we put in our sources and uses in our 2026 IUP, which was issued in September. So the base allotment for the clean water SRF, $79.6 million. The award for 2025 was $175 million. But we knew there were going to be earmarks this year, so we put in the draft, the IUP, a significantly lower amount because there were earmarks this year. So we expected that to be in 2025. There were no earmarks. They did a continuing resolution for both clean water and SRF with no earmarks, which was kind of a little treat for last year. The general supplemental, we estimated $268.8 million, and we got to 74.6, so a little bit more again. And we get the IJA EC, emerging contaminants dollars. We received 23.7 million, again, a little bit more than what we put in the IUP. So we're in, exactly kind of where we thought we were going to be in the IUP. For drinking water, the base allotment again is less, significantly less compared to last year because same thing, no earmarks, but the 2026 allotment is only 17.9 million this year, which is less than the 25 allotment of 51 million. The general supplemental is 116.2 million, which is in line with the 2025 award. The emerging contaminants is 35.7 million, again in line with the 2025 award, and the lead service line allotment for 2026 has not yet been released. There was some issues with doing the inventories and how they were going to figure out how much each state gets. A lot of states received we've talked about this, received a lot of lead service line money. They don't have lead service lines in their states. So they're still trying to adjust who gets what. And there will be a number of states that are returning their money, and then how does it get reallotted to the states that have lead service lines. So I don't know if Christine, Dave, if you want to say anything about the drinking water allotments.
The only thing to add is when they do reallot them, lead service line funding from other states, New York State is always there with our hand up because we have plenty of uses for that money and we'll be able to spend it all.
Yeah, in our current IUP, I think we have about 60 to 70 million just in reallotment money of the IJA led money. So it was quite a bit.
From 2024. Well, before, actually, all the years.
Yeah.
Right.
22 and
Yeah,
23.
22, 23. Yeah. So when that money gets available, you amend the application and ask for that money, and then we get extra money, which is nice. So that's where we are pretty much, except for a little bit lower drinking water for emerging contaminants. Is that the one that's less?
The base.
No, the base.
The base.
The base is
The
a
base.
lot lower. So it's the earmarks.
It's like 50% lower.
Yeah, we're pretty much where we thought we were going to be. So
President Coleman, can you just back to clean water for a moment? So I heard you say that we're 79.6 million in the base allocation
Mhm.
compared to 175 million from the previous years.
Yep.
Is that all due to earmarks?
yes.
And what was the previous year? So it's just to understand the trend.
Okay. Well, we used to get about 140.
Been 175 for a few years.
Yeah, but we used to get about 140, and then the last years before earmarks kicked in again, we were getting like 175. And then since earmarks kicked in, that's about what we've been getting, right? And then 2025, because they did the continuing resolution, we got a break for 1 year because the
Right, they didn't have
earmarks, come
earmarks.
off that. So you get the national allocation of SRFs, then all the earmarks that comes off, and then they do the allocations to the states. So the earmarks being very high in 2026 really hit the base dollars. It'll be interesting to see what the earmarks, I mean, they're not going to give them up, but what the earmarks are going to be starting next year, because they think, oh, but there's all that Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. So we're not like really hurting anybody. You're still getting all this money.
That expires.
But once that expires, they're really going to be hitting the base.
I think it would be helpful if we could have sort of just maybe the last 5 years of base comparatively, such that we can sort of appropriately talk about what the impacts might be, as well as continue to work with the New State delegation to actually have the numbers in front of us that explain what the impact is going to be to our.
Yeah, we have done that, and we've provided, what the earmarks, what the impact is, and we provided that to our federal folks so they can reach out to our federal members. And
If we can have that circulate
And
to
we
the
can-
board,
yep,
that would be very
we'll do
helpful as we continue to, including myself personally, when in DC, talking about
Yep.
the importance of the SRF. So. Thank
Madam
you.
President,
yes,
when you get more money for the lead line replacement, is there a separate initiative that you reach out, sort of let people know that there's more money available, or do we already know the existing players and we're trying to just get them more money? And I know every day more and more people find municipalities, et cetera, find the need for it. So is there like a different initiative around that program?
So I can answer that for you, Francis. So if you look at our 2026 IUP, we've got $474 million worth of projects ready for awards, and we get about a third of that. So we have projects ready to go. So we would just go to the next projects on the list.
Copy that. I didn't realize that we were underfunded on that.
Yeah, we've been oversubscribed 3-1 since it began.
and if more money becomes available to, we do a lot of outreach on lead service lines, and Mayor's group, the community assistance teams, when grants are awarded, because we have those lift state grants, we reach out DOH reaches out to make sure that they, they have the money. If we have people on the IUP and they haven't accessed that lead service line money, we reach out and we try to help them along. And as you know, we've done streamlined application processes for inventories for folks who haven't even done those, and really trying to help them to move along on lead service lines. And we've done everything we can with respect to the folks that have been arguing that they don't have the legal authority, to go onto private lands.
Mm.
So we continue to do whatever we can to move that lead service line money.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from the president's report? Thank you, President Coleman. The audit committee met prior to the board meeting. I'll turn it to Director Krasansky for his report on the audit committee meeting this morning.
Thanks. The audit committee just met a few minutes ago, approved the minutes from December 11 of last year. Jeff and Allie from KPMG presented their plan to do the audit for the coming, for the year we're in. And we'll hear again from them in June. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving on, is there any unfinished business to discuss? Hearing none, I'll move to the next agenda item. MJ, can you please introduce ID number 1?
A resolution of the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation making certain determinations and authorizing certain actions in connection with the Drinking Water State Revolving Fund and authorizing financial assistance payments to certain municipalities to fund eligible drinking water projects from funds appropriated for water infrastructure improvement projects.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. A second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Dave, I'll turn it to you for the presentation of the resolution.
Okay, thank you. There are 9 drinking water projects before the board today. First one is for the village of Casterland in Lewis County. This will be receiving a WIA grant. The project includes a new 150,000 gallon finished water storage tank to replace an existing aged and severely corroded tank. It also includes a new SCADA system to improve water system controls and communications, and a new emergency backup supply, which can run the water treatment plant, and which is needed to bring the system into compliance with current standards. The second project is for the village of Catskill in Greene County. This is an amendment to an existing short-term financing. It includes a funding increase and extension of the maturity date to June 2028. This project includes replacement of aged water mains throughout the village, and also includes reconstruction of the sedimentation basin at the treatment plant, which will improve organics removal to address disinfection byproducts exceedance. Next project is for the town of Friendship in Allegheny County. This project will receive a WIA grant and a short-term interest-free financing. It includes groundwater source upgrades, which includes development of a new well source and also new piping and valves to allow for blending of existing wells number 4 and 5 to address an arsenic exceedance. Project also includes 2 new storage tanks to replace the current existing aged tank, and includes replacement of aged water mains throughout the system and a new booster pump station. The next project is for the Green Lawn Water District in Suffolk County. This is for an IJA Emergent Contaminants Grant. The project includes 4 new GAC treatment units to remove PFOA, PFOS, and other VOCs from existing wells number 10 and 15. Next is the town of Parma in Monroe County. This is for a WIA grant and a short-term market rate financing. This project is for the formation of the Water Improvement Benefits Area number 1. The work includes 30,000 linear feet of new water main, including valves, hydrants, and meters to provide public water to 213 residents currently on private wells. Includes a connection to the Monroe County Water Authority as a source. And this project will also consolidate some unregulated out-of-district private connections, which are currently connected illegally, and they will be properly connected as a result of this project. Next is the town of Sheldon in Wyoming County. This is for a WIA grant, a bill general supplemental grant, and short-term interest-free and short-term market rate financing. Project includes replacement of 6,500 linear feet of aged water main and appurtenances on Route 98, Route 20, and School Street. These existing water mains are severely aged, undersized, and experience significant leakage. The project also includes a new well pump house to replace the existing aged pump house. The next project is for the town of Stafford in Genesee County. This will receive a WIA grant. This is for formation of the new water district number 14. The work includes installation of 2,500 linear feet of new water main, including valves, hydrants, and meters to serve 30 residents currently on private wells. This will be in the area of Clap Saddle Road and Fargo Road. And the source will be through a connection to the town of Bethany Water District 5. The next project is for the Mohawk Valley Water Authority in Oneida County. This includes IJA lead service line replacement grant and interest-free financing, as well as a New York State LIFT grant. The project will replace 913 public side lead service lines and 475 private side lead service lines throughout the city of Utica. The remaining private side not replaced as part of this project are either not lead or have already been replaced. And finally, the next project is for the town of Verdon in Oneida County. This is for a WIA grant. Project includes formation of the new Vernon Center Water District, which will serve 178 properties currently on private wells in the hamlet of Vernon Center. The work includes installation of 33,000 linear feet of new water main, plus valves and hydrants and meters. It also includes a new 154,000 gallon storage tank, a new booster pump station, and connection to the Village of Vernon public water system as the source. Any questions on any of those?
Exciting projects.
I have just a comment real quick, just a huge thank you that when there's a new district like that last one and a few others where there are meters that that we're obviously paying for them, but good for us to require, whatever word you use, to get people to invest in just that they work well, they're better than they used to be, and of course cutting back on leaks and on detection. So really good. Just love seeing that in all the new lines. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Any other discussion or questions? Well, congratulations on wonderful projects. With that, we'll move for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. The resolution is approved. Exciting. Moving on to our next agenda item, MJ, to please introduce ID number 2.
Resolution of the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation making certain determinations and authorizing certain actions in connection with the Clean Water State Revolving Fund and authorizing financial assistance payments to certain municipalities to fund eligible clean water projects from funds appropriated for water infrastructure improvement projects.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
So move, Madam Chair.
And I'll second.
Wonderful. Bill, I'll turn it over to you to please report on the resolution.
All right, thank you. We've got only one project with the Clean Water SRF this morning. It's the St. Regis Mohawk Tribe in Franklin County, Northern Franklin County. This is a WIA grant only financing or a grant agreement. The community has a 350,000 gallon per day treatment plant that is getting beyond its useful life, and certain components are currently inoperable. They are replacing the entire treatment plant. They're shifting technology from activated sludge to a sequencing batch reactor, which should serve them better than their current plant. The project is approximately $20 million. They're getting an enhanced WIA from us, so about $9.9 million through WIA for this project. Construction began in 2024 and is expected to be completed later this summer. Any questions on this one? I believe this is our first Indian Nation project that we've provided funding to.
That's incredible.
And
Yeah.
to remind you, the enhanced grants are 50% of your
50%,
grant
yes.
versus the 25. And I want, because 9 for drinking water and only 1 for clean water, and the chair raised last month with respect to the difference in numbers. We did go back to 2022, did a little bit deeper dive, and from 2022 to current, the number of projects for drinking water and clean water are almost equal. I think there's a difference of 10. So we did look at that. So it's just kind of when they come, goes like this. So we have about the same number of projects for both.
Well, first, I want to just celebrate this really exciting project. And Bill, it's really interesting to hear that this is our first grant to an Indigenous nation. And I'll also reflect that the St. Regis Mohawk tribe does have their own water quality standards as well through the Clean Water Act. So they've been really doing a lot of wonderful work on clean water, and it's exciting to see the state support with our government partners here. So just want to celebrate this really terrific grant.
I think, yeah, it's the first time we've seen anybody apply, right?
Yeah.
From the IUP. So we were like, thought that was exciting that they were IUP. So good, we can help them.
Just one
Any other
question. Well, I was going to say, do you think this could lead to others? And if so, are there outreach or conversations that, might leverage off of this to other similarly situated applications?
There could be. There's not a whole lot in the state that, that have their own treatment plant. I think it's a rather small universe to start with.
Right.
Also reflect that not all Indigenous nations take money from state partners. So that is also just a sort of a reality of this as well.
I don't know how many there are, but we did reach out a few years ago to all Speedies holders that hadn't come in.
Mm-hmm.
So, let them know about the SRFs, and have worked with those that were interested. A number of them weren't interested. I can't tell you if there were any other folks that didn't come in. But they reach us, so that's good.
Yep.
It's a great question. Any other question or discussion? Okay, we'll move to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Wonderful. Well, then the resolution, or rather the project advance, that's great. And we'll move it to ID number 3. MJ, to please introduce ID number 3.
A resolution of the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation authorizing the president of the corporation to take necessary actions with respect to the administration of the Strengthening Essential Cybersecurity for Utilities and Resiliency Enhancements Grant Program.
Mayor, I'll turn it to you for a presentation on the resolution,
All right,
please.
thank you. So our secure program is available to support.
Mayor, I'm so sorry. I forgot to call for a motion to adopt the resolution. I apologize for interrupting. I know. I really teased you just there. My apologies. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution? I'll make the motion. All right, wonderful. We have we made it.
Got it. Do it now.
Mayor, for real this time, turning it to you, please, for a presentation on the resolution.
Sure. So the secure grants are available to help support communities in meeting the new regulations that have been released through DEC, DOH, and DPS. We're offering 2 types of grants under the secure program. So the first is the secure assessment grant, and that is to help fund assessments that communities eligible clean water and drinking water systems can use this funding to create assessments of their cybersecurity posture, assess different vulnerabilities, and try to prioritize some risk mitigation needs. Communities can apply for up to $50,000 for the assessment grant, and there is no match requirement on this. The second grant we're offering is the implementation grant. Pretty straightforward names on these grants. So if a community has an assessment, they can then submit that and apply for an implementation grant, which will help pay for the implementation of some of the things in the assessments. So the goal of this would be to help communities actually fund assessments that they create. So we don't just want them to create the assessments, we actually want them to implement them and move forward. For the implementation grants, communities can get up to 20%, dollar amount up to $100,000. It's open to every clean water and drinking water system across the state. We are using some guidance and deliverables that we are expecting for both the assessment and implementation that are based on best practices that have been released through the EPA for water and wastewater infrastructure. And we also have technical assistance available. So if communities have questions or they just want to have a conversation about what they need to do for cyber, if they have specific questions on these applications, they can reach out to us and do one-on-one consultations. And the applications are due May 15th by 5 p.m. And we're really excited to be able to launch this first ever grant program for water infrastructure and help support our partner agencies with these new regs.
Thank you so much, Mayor. And it is incredibly exciting. I'll remind us that New York State is the first state in the nation to have adopted these regs and having these grants available to support municipalities and implementing them is so critical. So just congratulations to Mayor and the team for this really exciting new grant program.
That's
Any
great.
discussion?
I'm sorry, Francis?
I was saying that's great. And as usual, we're right there with the grants leading the charge on the, things that are changing.
And we've had for several months on EFC's website, a cyber hub with all of this information and resources to help them. And I believe DEC also has information on cyber on your website.
We do, including having offered trainings and,
Yeah.
and otherwise. So it's great.
So
Wonderful partnership.
And we try to make sure everything on our cybersecurity hub matches what DEC and
Yes,
DOD
we're
require.
consistent.
Yeah, resources, training, so everybody's getting the same information, which is good.
Thank you, Mayor. Any other discussion? We'll move to a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Wonderful. All right. With that approval, we will move to the next agenda item. MJ, if you could please introduce item number 4.
A resolution of the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation amending prior authorizations for consulting and engineering firms to serve as advisor and or provide engineering services to publicly owned treatment works asset management program.
Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Thank you. I'll turn it over to President Coleman and Brian McGuire to give a presentation on the resolution.
Okay, I'm going to let Brian pretty much handle it. He's I think you guys have met him before. Brian is Senior Manager of Procurement and Program Compliance, but he has been working very closely with DEC on the asset management program with the Arcadis and then the engineering firms underneath Arcadis to implement asset management plans in communities. We've been talking about this asset management program for years now. Several years ago, we shared some of the asset management programs that came out from some of the communities. So this is the second phase of that, and we're going to, this will ask to provide more money to Arcadis to continue this second phase and finish that up. But Brian, I'm sure you have more to add.
Yeah, thank you, Maureen. Like Maureen said, this board approval is to increase existing funding to the Arcadis of New York contract. And this is for rising costs associated with technical and software support, project management. So we would like to increase this contract from 2.5 million to 3.146. So that's an increase of 646,000. And the remaining unallocated amount from the $12 million will go to the engineering firm pool, which consists of 10 firms. So that would increase from 7.5 million to 8,139,000. And that takes care of the complete $12 million allocation for the asset management program.
Which has already been approved by the board.
Yes.
And Brian, just a couple of clarifying questions here. So one, just confirming, of course, that this does not increase the overall budget of the program. It stays within the budget.
Correct.
And then my second question is just for clarity, does this also include a 1-year extension on the contract?
Yes, the 1-year extension has already been approved. We did include that in the resolution, just for awareness.
Thank you.
Right. Yeah, so the contract, we already have the authority for we're going from 4 years to 5 years?
4 years plus a 1
Right,
year.
1 year.
One year extender, right?
And the 12 million total project budget was already approved, but we are amending the contract for Arcadis and adding 1 year. So we just wanted to come to the board for the extra 646,000.
Thank you for those clarifications. Any other discussion?
Just a really, I'll just speak up a little bit. Really important activity that we, again, leading the way by doing this centrally rather than, basically just letting each place decide if this is a priority, helping all these communities with their infrastructure. And so great. I'm so glad that the EFC is doing this. Thanks.
Oh, am I correct, Brian, too, that some of the need for additional monies by Arcadis is because now with the cyber regs and they want to be looking more with the communities at cyber?
There is some cybersecurity assessments going on with the municipalities too, that's included, yes.
Well, thank you. I will share in the enthusiasm for the importance of asset management. It is so important that this continue to be successful in this next phase of the pilot. So just thank you again for the partnership between DEC and EFC on this initiative. And thank you, Brian, very much. If there's no other discussion, we'll move for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No. Great. So we will move to ID number 5. MJ, to please introduce ID number 5.
Resolution of the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation authorizing the president of the corporation or the president's designee to enter into a contract with PKA Technologies to provide a Nutanix product environment for IT network infrastructure and the utilization of certain funds for the purchase of such services.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. A second? I will second it. I'll turn the presentation to Maureen McGrath and Sam Comini. Did I say it right? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to take a moment to introduce Sam Comini as our Assistant Director of IT. He's been with us for about 9 months, and he jumped right in to assess all our IT infrastructure and cybersecurity needs. And we thought going forward, Sam could present the IT resolutions. He can provide much more context and expertise. And so I'm going to turn it over to Sam.
Thanks, Maureen. Pleasure to meet you all. We are looking to replace our server infrastructure. And with a lot of modern networks, it kind of comes in 2 pieces. So we have the actual hardware, and then there's also a software element to get the most out of the hardware. Makes it a lot easier to manage, secure it, all those fun things. Along with the hardware replacement, since it's reaching its end of life, our current provider for our virtualization services, that software element that I was referring to before, they've started to perform price hikes and a lot of other practices that have many organizations shifting away from them. So when we were looking to renew our aging server hardware, we were also looking to replace the software as well. So with that, the IT unit, along with myself, we vetted 3 different solutions to replace VMware, trying to figure out the best parity between what we were currently having with our server solution to what we were going to be shifting to. And the answer that we ended up with was Nutanix. And the nice part about them, like I was mentioning, is we get a lot of parity between what VMware was providing us and what we are going to be experiencing with Nutanix. Along with that, we have also been trying to have robust backup systems as well. So with Nutanix, we'll also have support for those backup systems. So it's going to be a lot easier to lift and replace to the new systems. And As far as the procurement side of things were concerned, so we vetted multiple different solutions. And then we also went through an RFQ process on March 5th, 2006 to all 6 Nutanix resellers. And EFC received 3 proposals. We reviewed the response to the RFQ and awarded the RFQ to PKA Technologies Incorporated, which is also a certified women-owned business enterprise, based on the price for a 1-year term. The total price offered by PKA Technologies was $329,916, and is the lowest price between all of the offers.
Wonderful.
Wow.
Is there any discussion from the board? Sam, thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for that wonderful presentation and report. With that, we'll call for a vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Well, great. Thank you so much, Sam. Moving on to new business. Is there any new business to discuss? Hearing none. We'll move it to executive session and adjournment. The board meeting will conclude following executive session. The next meeting of the Board of Directors will be held on Thursday, May 21st at 11 a.m. It will be preceded by a meeting of the Governance Committee at 10 a.m. Bless you. And with that, I will please call for a motion to enter into executive session to discuss matters related to the medical, financial, credit, or employment history of a particular person or corporation, or matters leading to the appointment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person or corporation in accordance with public officer law.
That was a mouthful.
Madam Chairwoman, I'll make that motion. I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. So with that, we will move into executive session.
Sam, thank you. Good luck.
And we will
Thank you.
adjourn the meeting.